Well, I guess it's time. I've made a few videos trying to show the unfairness of Pima County Sheriff's Department, Barbara LaWall's office, the lack of help I've gotten from my county supervisor, Sharon Bronson. No reason to vote for these people because they don't do me any good, so I would never vote for them again. But anyway, I don't know where to really start in this situation, but I guess let's start with me moving into the property. October, I guess it was, and I've got another story. You know, when I first came to look at this property, I drove in, and well, there was a makeshift, like a chain across or something, that some people who had horses here at the time, and they had set up a deal, and so I pulled off on the side of the street. It's like down at the end of a dead-end street, and we're kind of out in the country. Across the street was a man out in his yard working, had on coveralls and just looked like an old country boy to me. So I stopped and I got out. Now I'm the kind of person, and maybe you already realize it, a carload of Crips, carload of Bloods, I don't care. Somebody drive up, I'm just going to walk out, say, yeah, can I help you? Or, you know, what do you need? I just don't live in fear like that. So I stopped, and I thought it was really unusual when this guy just kind of hesitated in his yard. He just kind of stood there and looked at me. I just had on a, you know, t-shirt and jeans, and so I couldn't have been mistaken as a Jehovah's Witness or IRS. And I didn't look like somebody that was going to be serving him with a subpoena. And so I thought, well, that's kind of odd. But he finally came on out, and I said, how are you doing? I'm Warren Garrison. I don't think he even told me his name. And I said, I've come over to look at that property across the street. He didn't say anything. And I said, I've just got to get out of Tucson. I said, I just can't take that loud music anymore. Those boom boxes and, you know, the electrified sound, I told him. He said, yeah, my boy's got one of them systems, but he knows better than to come in here playing that thing. Yeah, right. So I made a deal for the property, signed the papers, started loading my stuff, and I came up with a load. And I finally get to the point. The first night that I stayed here, I hear this boom, boom, boom. I thought, you got to be kidding. No, please, no, tell me, no. And looked at the clock, and it was 1 a.m. So I went out and stood in front of the garage, and I'd look around. I looked across the street, and I could see a fire, like a barrel with fire coming out of it. And so I walk over there, and there's a young man walking around, and you could tell he was drinking. A teenager too, maybe 17, 18 at the most, maybe even 16. And then the back of a car, the trunk was raised, and there was a big old boy sitting in there with a girl, had his arms around this girl in the back in the trunk of a car, and they were playing this music. And I said, just as nice, I always start off nice, I said, hey guys, I said, could I get you to turn that down a little bit? I said, you know how systems carry these days, and I said, the sound kind of multiplies as it travels. And the boy standing there walking around said, no problem, I'll turn it off. And I said, no, you don't have to turn it off. Just turn it down a little bit. And he said, no, I'll turn it off. And I said, well, I wish you would. And I said, if you just turn it down a notch, it'll be okay. No, no, I'll turn it off. I said, well, I appreciate it, but I didn't want to spoil your party. And he said, no, that's okay, that's okay, I'm sorry. And I didn't think, I thought that was wonderful. I thought, this is great. So I said, look, I'm moving in across the street. If you guys need anything, let me know. I said, I'll be glad to help. I said, old men have buckets of nails and washers and screws and bolts, so check with me before you go to Ace Hardware. He thanked me. The boy in the trunk never said anything. And so next day, I thought, I know what I said. I said, I like to be a good neighbor, so if you need anything, please come over. He thanked me. The boy in the truck of the car never said anything. So I go back home. The music stopped. The next night, about 8:30, I hear it coming down the street. Boom, 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 boom. I thought, you got to be kidding. So I'm out there and I've got one of these little, it's pretty powerful little light, but they're like 250 feet away because they've got over an acre. I've got over an acre. My dwelling is like back a good 80, 90 feet from the street. And you got the street, and then you got their houses way back. And so quite a distance, 300 feet. So I just kind of shined the light over there like that, sort of like, excuse me, but remember me? And I hear, my daddy wants to talk to you. Uh-oh. So I said, okay. Now bear in mind, that's the only thing I ever, at any point in time, said to that boy. Ever. To now. From then to now. Okay. So I start walking out to the street, and here comes that old man out of the house. He's coming out just like something off of Jerry Springer. I mean, he's running out. You ever come over here again jumping on my boy? I'll have you arrested for trespassing. Whoa. You gotta be kidding. What the fuck is wrong with people? What the hell is going on in this earth? And I told him, I said, call him right now, you asshole. I jumped right in. And I turned around and came back. Well, I think they came out, I'm not sure. But they never came and talked to me. I'm surprised. It would have been a wonderful, he probably could have told them, yeah, the boy came over here and attacked me, and the man came over and attacked me and threatened my son, because I found out later on he's just a lying son of a bitch. So the time has gone on, and we've had a number of problems. This man, this is the 2007, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, almost 9 years. And this son of a bitch still hates me to this day. The point was, what really set him off was, the next morning the boy left out to go to work or something. Boom, boom, boom. I thought, okay, I tried to talk to you, I really did. 911 is my last resort. So here we go. Won't ever do it again, but 911, could you come out and address this problem, because it looks like it's going to be turned into a real serious problem. Okay. Deputy came out, one of the few, nice as he could be, recently back home from Iraq, and thank you for your service, sir. And he says, and this is how things ought to work. But as you see in my postings, they don't. But he said, well, what would you like for me to do? Would you like for me to go over and cite him or talk to him? I said, well, just talk to him, because I think sometimes that does better if it's a reasonable person, or if they're just either scared shitless that they're going to get in trouble. But anyway, he said, okay, let me go. Well, he was over there about 30 minutes or more. He came back, said I talked to him. He said he'd keep the music down. And he has. He's come in a couple of times, but nothing enough to get crazy about. But the problem is that Dad is the one that's upset. I came in one night. They've got several dogs. And my gate, of course, is right out there next to the street. Then the road and their fence. So the dogs are running up and down, and it's 10 o'clock, and they're just going blah, 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 crazy, crazy, crazy. And I turned around and I yelled, sorry, but I yelled, shut the fuck up. The next thing I know, there's 4 deputy units out here. It's just crazy. Anyway, another time they cut me some slack, so I want to tell the good stuff with the bad stuff. And so one of the deputies came over and, Mr. Garrison, did you say you were going to kill his dogs? I said, no, I didn't say that. I said, why would I just up and say, okay, I'm going to kill you dogs? I said, shut the fuck up. That's what I said. Well, okay. You know, the dogs are just doing what they're supposed to do. They're barking. I said, I know, but I said, they don't stop. They just keep on and on and on. Okay, well, you know, try to keep it down. So there's another time that I didn't get nailed to the cross. But maybe he didn't know me. Maybe he didn't know that there's a little mark by my name. You know, Nail Garrison. Maybe it's just the cops. Maybe it's the one that were over there. So, all right, so we go along, and there's several other instances, and this old guy, you know, a lot of times would stand over there and just glare at me. Boy, he just hates my guts. All because I asked his boy to turn his music down. I just can't believe it. So anyway, 2014, once again, we got all this property here. I've got rabbits coming in and eating my flowers, and I have like flower beds around and everything, so I got a BB gun. Now, if you got any brains at all, you know that BB guns are limited. They are not as dangerous as an AK-47. So I see a rabbit eating my flowers, and he runs up toward the front of my property. Now I'm up there, and I go up and I shoot, and you hear it pop. And then he didn't really do anything. I either didn't hit him or it just didn't bother him because the gun is so, it's just a weak piece of crap. They don't make them like they used to. So I shoot again, pop. Next thing I know, this guy comes running from around these trees. There's literally a barricade. We've got big mesquite trees and everything. And he comes running around the trees. Now, he was over behind them at the back of his house. But we're talking about 250 feet away. He comes running over. Are you shooting over here? I said, no, I'm not. I'm shooting right here in my own damn yard. You know, all of a sudden he turns to his wife. Call the police! Call the police right now! I said, why are you doing this? He said, you started it when you called the cops on my boy. Now this is 8 years later. Or, well, it's been 6 years. Well, almost 7 years. 2014. So whatever. Anyway, I said, you got to be kidding. So deputies come out. Here we go again. I said, okay, I was standing here and I shot at the rabbit there. He's all the way at the back of his house. We got all these trees. We got cars. No way a BB could get through this. Well, yeah, Mr. Garrison, but he said there was BBs ricocheting off the trees and that he felt endangered. I said, he's using this as a way to get to me and get back at me. He said, I'm doing it because you called the cops on my boy, so I'm going to call the cops on you, even though you didn't do anything. They wrote me up. Let's see, what was the charge? Endangerment. And that can be pretty serious. So went in. First thing that comes out of this son of a bitch's mouth, well, Well, Judge, you know, this man has continually harassed my boy about his music. He just will not get off his case. He's just always picking on my boy. Remember, all I ever said to that boy was, okay. So it starts with that lie. Now, the night that he called the cops, another son and his girlfriend were there. And I guess he didn't take after his mom and dad, because he told the officer, yeah, we were standing there with my dad, but I didn't hear anything. Now, the old man has done mechanicing and body work, as well as his wife. They're up in their 50s, almost 60. You know there's got to be some hearing loss. And yet, kids in their early 20s, they're saying, yeah, I was standing right there. I didn't hear anything. I don't know. So, once again, let's just start writing. Let's write. So, another charge. Another $165. 6 times to court. That's 6. 5 and 1. 6 times to court. 6 trips. Almost 80 miles round trip. 480 miles. It's just not in Pima County to say, you know, sir, I know you want to press charges against Mr. Garrison. I can see that you hate his guts and you want to get even with him. But look, let's be reasonable. You're back here 250 feet from the front of his property, and he's another 50 feet. That's almost 300 feet. You expect me to believe that a BB could get through these trees and through these cars, your junk cars, and get to you in the back? Unbelievable. So, there's another story. I'm going to leave it at that. Cut this off. And then I want to get to the dog story. So you have a good night, okay? Thanks for listening. Pima County sucks. And citizens are not safe. Because there's no one to turn to in situations like this. People can just lie their ass off. And that's it. You are just up shit creek.